The fifth Sunday of Easter, Year A. The Gospel according to St. John. John's Gospel, chapter 14, from verse 1 to 12. Amidst all that we can find in this Gospel text, Jesus' statement in verse 6 of John chapter 14 stands out for me. And that statement is, Ego emi he others kaheli teya kahezwe. Udes erkomaya proston patera me dia emo. That is, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Building up to this statement is Jesus' insistence that he had a journey to embark upon. Now, Thomas, who was just unique in his consistent attempts to understand the unclear expressions of Jesus, revealed his incredulity. This doubt of his produced a great response from Jesus. It was beneficial to the apostles as no less beneficial to us today. Jesus said to Thomas, I am the way, and the truth, and the life. Ego mi he others kahelitea kahezwe. While this declaration sounds great to us, it meant much more to the Jews who were listening to Jesus. These concepts, way, truth, and life, had very special connotations in Judaism, yet Jesus was bold enough to appropriate them. Now let's look at the way, the concept of the way and Judaism. The term way or road, that is ordos in Greek, is a masculine noun used symbolically to mean a way of doing things or a philosophy of life. For the Jews, the words path and way have very deep meanings. They speak much about the ways of God and the surest path people should follow. The Jews quote how God said to Moses, You shall not turn to the right or to the left. You must follow exactly the path that the Lord your God has commanded you. Compare Deuteronomy chapter 5, 32 and 33. Moses said to the Jews, I know that after my death you will surely act corruptly, turning aside from the way that I commanded you. Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 29. Isaiah had said, Your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, This is the way, walk in it. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 21. It was a prayer of a psalmist, Teach me your way, O Lord. Psalm 27, verse 11. From the foregoing, the Jews knew and said much about the way. Fingers pointed at the way. Prophets spoke about the way of God. Moses and others heard about the way. While people keep telling them about the right way and the surest way, Jesus declares that he himself is that way. Imagine someone is giving you some directives about a place. Imagine such a one pointing his finger to make you understand. In contrast to that, imagine another telling you not to worry, and without pointing at the direction decides to take you there. This is very close to what Jesus is talking about. He is not directing anyone as such. He is walking you up to the place of promise. We can connect this to the reality of the Good Shepherd, who is not like the hireling in John chapter 10, verse 5. The hireling might point of a hand or a finger at a place of pasture, of possible pasture, irrespective of the dangers therein. But the Good Shepherd is committed to lead the sheep there and also committed to their safety. He is leading them by the hand. The second verse from Joseph Gilmore's hymn, He Leaded Me, is handy here. It sings, Sometimes mid seams of tempest gloom, Sometimes where Eden's flowers bloom, by waters calm, all troubles see, still 'tis God's hand that leadeth me. Jesus leads us by his own hand. Jesus wants the Jews to understand that even before the call of Abraham in Genesis chapter 12, the fall of the first man in Genesis 3 had necessitated the second Adam, to whom it belongs to fulfill all things. He is a sure personification of the philosophy of life or the way of doing things, and all who take refuge in him shall not be confounded. As Psalm 71 verse 1 says, in te Domini speravic non defunda in eternum. He will raise them up on the last day. John chapter 6:54 tells us. We are therefore charged to not only point the way to Jesus for others to follow, but to lead them on to the place of promise. Now, let's look at truth and Judaism. Aletheia translates into the English word truth. It literally means the state of not being hidden. It also refers to reality. In his problem of philosophy, in page number 62, Bertrand Russell, in congruence with the correspondence theory of truth, averred that what we believe or say is true if it corresponds to the way things actually are to facts. The kernel here is that truth comes to the fore when beliefs or claims are consistent with facts and reality, as opposed to mere appearances. Just as the idea of the way means a lot to the Jews, so are they drawn to the dignity of truth, the nobility of truth. The psalmist says, "Teach me your way, O Lord, that I may walk in your truth." Psalm 86 verse 11. Again he said, "I will walk in faithfulness to you." Psalm 23 verse 3. Psalm 26 verse 3. "I have chosen the way of faithfulness," he said. Psalm 119 verse 30. Now, many people have talked about the truth, but no one says, "I am the truth." The truth has remained a subject of discussion without being embodied. Jesus embodies the truth, not through empty claims, but by living it out. There is an uneclipsed synergy between his claims and his actions. His teachings correspond with his life, and this is the mark of authenticity. Every genuine Christian, therefore, should imitate Christ for this unique personification of the truth. Now, let's look at life and Judaism. Life is zoe, from the Greek feminine noun which means living, substance, existence. Homer employed zoe more as the opposite of death. The Jews are also very interested in the theme of life. The writer of the Proverbs said, "The commandment is a lamp, and the teaching a light, and the reproofs of discipline are the way of life." Proverbs 6 verse 23. Whoever heeds instruction is on the path of life. Proverbs 10:17. "You show me the path of life," said the psalmist, Psalm 16 verse 11. Just like every other person, the Jews in the time of Jesus loved life and did everything to keep it. Now Jesus tells them, and all of us, that life with him is life indeed. This kind of life transcends the biological life we share with the other beings, the other animals. The biological stuff is just a vegetative expression. Life with Jesus, as he wanted the Jews to know, transcends the earth-bound experience. It is suprasensible, meta-categorical, and transphenomenal. It is a life that is conscious of the hereafter. The life of Zoe is conscious about eternal fulfillment in God. He wants us to look beyond the givings of bias and keep an eye on the benefits of Zoe, through which a beatific vision is realized. Thus, I am the way and the truth and the life is not simply a sweet-sounding rhetoric. It conveys a message deep enough for the Jews and us to reflect upon. He, Christ, is the embodiment of the way. He is the highest definition of whatever anyone can hold as a truth. And He is a life that is non-contingent, a life that perdures eternally.